Hi everyone, I'm John Capagrossi, Program Manager at Pacific Oaks College in Pasadena. This video is going to help you, our new adjunct instructors at the college, on how to set up your Canvas shell in advance of the first day of the semester. Now this is not an all-inclusive information technology level training, but this is going to be the basics to help you understand the Canvas system as it's used at Pacific Oaks, the interplay between our syllabi and our Canvas shells, and just the basic parameters you need to set up to be ready to teach on day one. All right, thanks very much. With that, let's get to it.
All right, so let's get started. Now, first off, one of the first questions we'll usually hear is, when will Pacific Oaks College have my Canvas shell become available or go live? Well, for that answer, quick explanation. Canvas for Pacific Oaks College is managed by TCS, the Community Solution, with its headquarters in Chicago, Illinois. Pacific Oaks College is part of the TCS system of schools, which includes 6 different colleges around the country. As the head of the system, TCS manages Canvas for all the schools of the system. So when TCS launches the shells, this is when they'll go live for both Pacific Oaks College and all the other affiliate schools. Now, when would this happen? This should take place by about 2 weeks before the start of the semester. Now, how will you get to your Canvas shell? Well, let's go ahead and display that now. You'll start off with the Pacific Oaks College homepage, www.pacificoaks.edu. As soon as you're there, you're going to scroll straight to the bottom and you'll see this link. Faculty and Staff. Faculty and Staff. You'll want to click that link. Now, you'll be prompted to log in using Duo Mobile. That's our multi-factor authorization or MFA tool. This just makes sure, of course, that you are you. So it's going to use your cell phone to confirm your identity. So use whatever method you want, text, call, etc. Well, you've clicked the link, you've used Duo Mobile, and you've now arrived at the Employee Intranet. The Employee Intranet. On the left, you'll see this section called Quick Links. Here at the top left of these quick links is your link to Canvas. So go ahead and click that link. And that will take you to the Canvas dashboard. The Canvas dashboard. So on the home page of Canvas, you're going to see these squares, and these are referred to as course cards. And you should see one of these cards on screen for each class you are teaching. So to go to your class, just click that card. All right, you've now clicked that, and you are now on the home page of your Canvas course, or sometimes called the Canvas shell. So Canvas course, Canvas shell, it's the same thing. All right, now that you're here, step 1, put your contact info on the home page. So looking up at the top right area of the page, you will see this important button with the word edit with the pencil icon, and this is your edit key. Click edit. Then you're going to click to go to the middle of the page, and here's where you can type in your info. Now, of course, you'll put your name there. Now, for email, be sure to put your Pacific Oaks College email address only. You will not want to use your personal email address on this page. Next, you'll see phone number. You do not have to put your phone number as the instructor of the class. You can if you so choose, but if you don't want to or choose not to, you can simply put NA. Finally, for office hours, you can just type the words by appointment. When you've done all of this, scroll down to the bottom and make sure to click Save. By doing that, you've made your first update to the Canvas shell. All right, next, step 2. Post a welcome announcement for your students using the Announcements tool. This welcome announcement is just a brief greeting. It should help your students to get to hear from you. Welcome regarding the semester and the class. And one helpful part of this announcement, though, is you'll want to be sure to remind your students to post attendance by Wednesday of week 1. We're going to talk a little more about posting attendance in a minute and how students post attendance. But your students, for the most part, should know what that means. This is just a reminder to them by Wednesday of week 1. And once you've typed out your announcement, be sure to scroll again to the bottom. And the Save button in the case of announcements will say Publish. So whenever you create an announcement, click Publish to have it go live in the Canvas shell. All right, you're finished with that. Let's move on to step 3. Now, what if you're teaching a synchronous online class, otherwise known as a Zoom class or Zoom modality class? If you're teaching one of these synchronous online classes, your next step will be to create your class's Zoom meeting. Now, please note, you may see this section of the training and say, well, I'm not teaching a Zoom-based class. I'm teaching live in person on campus. However, I think these instructions will be helpful for you as well. And that's, for example, later you might need to plan a one-on-one Zoom meeting with a student. Maybe the student has some questions about an assignment. You want to hold a Zoom meeting with them to assist them. So these instructions about creating a Zoom meeting are actually helpful for all professors. So let's go through it. As a Pacific Oaks College instructor, you have a Zoom account. You would not use your own personal Zoom account to create Zoom meetings. So here is the web address that you will use to access your Zoom account. So you might remember earlier we talked about the TCS system. The web address you're going to type in is tcsedsystem.zoom.us. Again, tcsedsystem.zoom.us. Once you're here on Zoom, for many of you, creating a Zoom meeting, that's a pretty familiar activity. But I'm just going to go over a few simple items here. So first off, folks ask, well, what should I title my Zoom meeting for the synchronous online class? I would recommend titling it after the course number of the class and the semester. So MFT 507, Spring 2026. That could be fine. Some sort of name like that is clear enough. Now, next, if you want to put things like recurring meeting, pick Tuesdays, putting the dates of the semester, start and end dates, this is all okay. You can do this, but it is not mandatory. If you just create the Zoom meeting, create your title, and say save, that should be fine. That will meet the requirements for sure. Last but not least, you're going to go to the bottom of the screen here, and you'll want to click Copy Invite. Copy Invite. Then from there, go directly back to Canvas, to your Canvas shell for your class. And you're going to want to create another announcement if you are teaching a synchronous online course. That announcement, when you create it, should have a title that very clearly denotates that this is where the Zoom meeting link is found. You won't want to create a vague title for the announcement like announcement or info. Make sure you put something that references that this is where the Zoom meeting link is found. And remember, your students are going to be revisiting this announcement throughout the entire semester to click this Zoom link to re-enter class and participate with the class session. So you've created the announcement, you've got a clear title, you paste in the invite. Then be sure, again, to click Publish. All right, now that we've met that, here's step 4. It's time to review the syllabus. Now, first off, you may say, well, where do I click to go to the syllabus? So you'll look over at the left side of the screen to what's called the navigation menu, and you may notice something interesting. You might see 2 links that mention syllabus. One of those links just says the word syllabus, and the other actually says course syllabus. Which link do I click? Which is the correct one? Well, you'll want to click the link that says course syllabus. 2 words, course syllabus. Now, and by clicking that, that will bring you to the concourse syllabus for the class. Concourse is a company that Pacific Oaks College partners with to provide syllabi for all of our classes. Now, the first thing you're going to notice as you come to the syllabus and start scrolling through and reviewing it, you'll notice that this is a set syllabus. This is not the type of syllabus where you're going to type in information and say save and make updates. The concourse syllabus does not work that way. These activities don't happen with concourse. Those are the types of activities that are actually done in the Canvas shell. So you'll recall you posted a welcome message to students using announcements in Canvas. You did not post your welcome on the actual syllabus. So in effect, just think of the Canvas shell itself as sort of an extension of the syllabus. Many of the classic greetings or informational things that you would have put on a syllabus in the past will actually be put onto the Canvas shell. And so with Pacific Oaks College, you will not edit the syllabus for this information. Instead, you will edit the Canvas shell to present the same information that you see in the syllabus. One item that is important that you're going to see on the concourse syllabus is the course calendar. So this is where your class will actually spell out the specifics of what each week's assignments are, what the topics of teaching are, and importantly, you'll see what week each assignment for class is due. Now this is important, but we're going to come back to revisit this calendar in a moment. So you've checked, you've clicked course syllabus, you've made sure the syllabus is indeed there. It is the concourse syllabus, and so that's step 4. Now, on to step 5. Make sure an attendance post is visible and available for your students. Now, what is an attendance post? Well, it's going to be either a discussion post or most likely an assignment that says, introduce yourself. You might see POC for Pacific Oaks College, introduce yourself, or some variation of that, but there should be an assignment in your Canvas shell that has a title like that. So please first off make sure that that post is indeed there. Now, here's the important rule about this. Your students must post a message, a greeting, just saying hello to their fellow students, and that has to be posted no later than Wednesday of week 1 of class. You'll remember we mentioned that in the class announcement that you posted earlier. Now, if that Wednesday of the first week of class comes and goes and it's Thursday and Friday of week 1, and if you have any students that still have not posted attendance, those students will start getting emails and phone calls from their academic advisor urging them to do so. Now, what's this post all about? Why is it so important that your students greet their fellow students and introduce themselves? Well, besides, of course, the surface value of just students interacting and greeting each other, the importance of this greeting is that it actually logs the activity of the student as being active and engaged in the class. And the Canvas system is linked up to the main database of the college, which is Anthology Students. So when a student posts this greeting, Canvas will send a digital message to the main database of the college that basically says, yes, this student posted attendance. So in effect, this post is your student's way of telling Pacific Oaks College, I want to stay in this class. So that's the importance of this message. All right, we're on to step 6, and this is a very important final part to our process, and that is adding due dates to your assignments. All Canvas shells at Pacific Oaks College are pre-programmed to launch and go live with no due dates on any of the assignments that appear on screen. All due dates for both discussion posts and assignments will be blank when the shell first launches. So, as the instructor, you might say, how are the students going to know when the assignments are due? How will I know when they're due? I'm the instructor of the class. Well, answer, let's go back to our important class calendar from the concourse syllabus. Now, you remember earlier when we were first reviewing the syllabus and we looked at the weeks that the assignments are due. Here is where you will translate these weeks into actual due dates.
So let's start with this first assignment, the communication paper. So as mentioned, we don't have a due date in Canvas, but we can find this assignment on the course calendar on the syllabus. As we go through the course calendar, there it is. Communication paper is due week 6. So we get our calendar and we'll count up through the semester until we get to week 6. And we'll find the Sunday at the very end of week 6. And there it is. In our example here, the Sunday of week 6 will be October 5th. So let's jot down that date really quick, and then we select the assignment, click the edit key, and we scroll to the bottom of the assignment. Here you'll find a calendar. This calendar controls the dates of the assignments. And there's where you're going to want to put in that due date that you looked up on the calendar. Once again, we learned it's October 5th. Select that date as your due date. Now, for the available from and until, these are actual controls that control when your students can access these assignments and when they cannot. So if you want your students to be able to see and review these assignments all semester, just put the first day of the semester as available from and the last day of the semester as until. And these will always default to 11:59 p.m., which is fine. And then click Save. And as we go back to the assignments page, we now see that our assignment has a due date that matches the syllabus due date, week 6. All right, and that's what you'll do. You'll just continue going through the assignments of the class, locate them on the course calendar, locate what is the Sunday that matches the end of that week that the calendar says it's due, and select that Sunday as the due date.
All right, if you finished all these steps, congratulations, you've completed this Canvas shell setup. Now note there might be other items or things that come up during the semester that you might need assistance with the Canvas shell. That is not a problem at all. If it's just a question of sort of an additional setup item or any other thing related to sort of what we've done in this video, go ahead and contact me, the program manager. However, if for any reason you experience a technical challenge or difficulty with Canvas that kind of goes beyond the scope of this video and you want to talk to an IT support person, make sure to dial 1-800-747-8367. That's 1-800-747-8367. And be sure to press option 1 for Canvas support. All right, thank you very much, and we wish you a great semester ahead here at Pacific Oaks College.